Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bleeding Crypto's Market Update. Today is going to be a special update on PEPE. So normally I do all my updates on Bitcoin, but we've had some interesting discussions with people on Twitter, and a lot of them say, "Oh, you can't TA PEPE. You can't TA this one." And it's funny because when FOMO hits, everybody thinks that this time it's different. And guys, you have to realize these things follow an algorithm. An algorithm is something that is programmed. You're not trading against other human beings. You're trading against the exchange. You're trading against the house, especially when there's perps involved. When there's perps involved, they're going to respect the fibs even more so, because the fib is what programs the price action to win, to give them the high win ratio. It's no different than going to Vegas. And if anybody knows about, like, say, for instance, blackjack, and knows the odds of blackjack, the best odds in Vegas for any gambling at all whatsoever, there's only one that gives you a fair 50-50 chance. And that's blackjack, single deck, one-on-one with the dealer. That's it. That's the highest. The most even, better said, odds there are. Now, for every, I don't remember the exact equation, but when you're playing blackjack, even just single deck, when you add another person to the table, two people against the house, you would think that now the house has less of a chance to win. And it's actually the other way around. The more people that sit on that table, it increases the odds that you're going to lose and the house is going to win. So and all of this is done by following rules. They follow the same rules. They have a certain number, like for instance, 17. The dealer always pushes on 17 or hits on 17. I haven't played in years, but there's a rule set that they have, and they follow that rule set. Why? Because that's the odds and the probability that's going to be placed for the house to increase their odds of winning. Investing, guys, well, not even investing, trading, playing these meme coins, playing in the market is really no different. The problem is that most people don't have the discipline to stick to a rule set, where algorithms don't have to worry about discipline. They're programmed and there's no emotion to it. So let's take a look at PEPE and let's see if TA doesn't work. Let's see if it doesn't follow the TA. Let's do this. This is the hourly time frame. I'm going to erase everything off of here. And, actually, no, excuse me. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go just erase the one drawing there. Let me hide the indicators. I don't need volume. I don't need EMAs. Let's do this. Let's take the, this run here, for instance. We had a nice run up to the up top. I will say that FOMO, it is hard to TA. But once the FOMO is over, that's when things start to settle down, and that's when you start TAing. So I'll give you that much. When you're going up like this and you're FOMOing, there really is no way to really measure this and say it's going to stop here, it's going to stop here. However, when it stops here like this, and when it starts to start to pull back, that's when the algorithms kick in. So let's take a look. Let's do this. Let's start off with the fib. That's my favorite tool, really. Let's see here. Let's get a fib here. Let's measure the top, and let's measure where that started. So right here, look, right here, I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to show you the bottom of that range. So right here is where we're pretty much just ranging, and right here, look, that's the bottom before it kicked off. Now, whenever you have, you guys know, if you follow my videos, I like using fibs, and I have different rules for different things. So the first thing I'm going to look at when I put a rule set, I'm going to put a continuation fib. Continuation fib, and many of you guys who follow me, again, you've heard me say this before. If we're going to continue, and we're going to put in a continuation pattern, whether it be a double bottom or more famously the bull flags, you're going to stop at a certain fib. 0.50. It tells you that it's going to continue, that it's going to bounce. Look at this, guys. I'm not making this shit up. You see the range. I didn't put this fib to meet my criteria. I put it right here at the bottom. Look, the bottom range. This was the candle that set it off right here. You can see it yourselves. Candle set it off. And then look, my continuation rule. Bounced right off 50%, came back, double bottomed, and took off. I mean, come on, guys. You cannot look at something like this and say you cannot TA. You cannot TA a meme coin. Okay, so we got our macro view of what they plan to do. So when I look at this, I think we have a good chance of PEPE is going to continue. However, inside of this here, there's also fibs that you want to look at. So for instance, before you put in a flag, you're going to put a series of, you have a high, you have basically lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and it's going to coil down before that breakout. So let's see how well that TA worked out in providing us this higher low. You guys also know that I like using, I have a rule for that. It's called the lower high rule for a reason. So let's get the low here. Let's get the top here. And that lower high rule is basically, I'm looking at 3 fibs that I like to look at when I look for a lower high rule. That's 618. That's usually in green for me. 706. That's in yellow because it happens not as often as the 618, which is in green, but some of the time. And then I have red for 786 that sometimes it happens, not very often, but that is the peak area for me to grab a lower high. Anything above 706, I don't consider it. It's usually less likely it's going to stop there, and it's going to basically continue to maybe a double top. So let me put my lower high rule and see how that worked out on that. Oh man, I can't. Oh, there we go. My cursor was stuck in the other screen. My lower high rule. What do we do? Okay, so we initially did stop at 618. You can see here we did stop at 618. We came down. However, we did actually double top. Look, we double top at 706. So I have it in yellow for that reason. Again, it doesn't always hit 706, but sometimes it does. So now we have a pattern. And what I mean by that is typically when we look at a lower high, and every coin is different. When a coin stops at 618, the next lower high usually is 618. And if a coin likes to stop at 706, usually the next one's at 706, and so on and so forth, 786 and so forth. So now that we've established that we put in a double top, look at that, we put in a double top right at 706. The rules of a double top, usually what I look for is the double top will, when it comes back down, it'll stop at 618, 706, or 786. So let's look at that. Let's see if it followed that rule set. Here's the bottom of that right there. And that's my reload zone. Boom. right at 786. Again, guys, when you say you can't TA, I laugh because everything follows technicals. Everything does. Yes, FOMO here. No technicals. But once it's over, once the euphoria is over and the algorithms start kicking in, you better believe it's going to follow technicals. So if you want to play this, you better learn your technicals. Okay, so now we've established a lower high. We've established a beautiful retracement for the next lower high. So let's see how well that played out. Let's look at the next level. So I'm going to erase this so it doesn't get too crowded. We're looking for 706 basically. So let me get out of here. So we put in a lower high, a lower low. So now I'm going to measure between this lower low and this lower high. So let's get the fib here. Let's get here, and let's go up here, and let's get my lower high rule. Lower high rule. What do? We right back to 706. You see that? It likes to follow. I laugh, guys, because I get comments that tell me, "Oh, TA doesn't work," and I'm like, "All right, guys, you got it." Look, we did the exact same thing. We double topped right at 706 for the next lower high. Now, here comes the part that I'm really interested in, and I'm sure all you guys are going to love this part. We are putting a series of lower highs and lower lows, but at some point, because remember the first fib that we put on was a 0.50. Because we hit 0.50, I'm looking for a continuation now. So now I'm looking at this as a coil. whenever you look at a bull flag, you're going to notice that a bull flag will have a top, a bottom, and then it does this. It just coils. It just coils and coils and coils until that explosion comes out. And when I do a flag pattern, I like putting in a trend line. So I want to see if my trend line is okay. There we go. There's my trend line here. I got the most touches. So I got a touch here, I got a touch here, and I got a touch here, touch here. We've peaked up a little bit here. No big deal. But you can see that flag pattern starting to form. Let me go to the 2-hour time frame. Just want to see this here. Okay. I'm liking this here for this flag pattern, for this continuation. Now, does this mean because we hit this lower high that we're not going to put in a lower low? We could, but I typically don't expect from this coil and this higher low, this higher low formation here, higher low formation here. I'm not going to expect really another lower low on this hit of this higher low. So more than likely, what we're going to see is we're going to stay within this range before we break out. So right now, what I'm now looking for is the bottom of this actually works out really nicely for support of that flag. So you see this line here that I just drew. Let me go here. Let me put a green line here, a green line here. Let me make this solid. Boom. Okay, so now for me, now this becomes a really nice area for and we're getting close to the apex. So the apex means that we're not going to hit the very tip of that. I'm not expecting that. Normally, we leave a little bit of a buffer in here before that break. Not always, but typically we do. So I'm thinking if I'm looking at the 2-hour time frame or even the hourly time frame, I'm thinking we're probably going to have one more touch here and then a lift off. So for you guys that are looking at PEPE for a continuation, and I'm not in this, guys. I'm not doing this to shill it. I'm not doing this to pat my back. I'm just not interested in these coins. They're very unpredictable, and the more exchanges that introduce perps like BitMEX, I think BitMEX just introduced perps, and I think other companies are coming on board. They're going to want to drop it. Technicals say we're going to continue, but the hype and the euphoria and the other exchanges coming in may really hamper the technicals. So even though the technicals are working out great, it doesn't mean they're going to continue to work out. They may work out in the sense that you may be able to now use the technicals on the way down and look for bounces. So when I look for bounces on the way down, when we start putting in lower lows and lower highs, I'm going to look for 618s for bounces up into resistance, so that I can basically short it on the way down and know where my entry for my short's going to be and know where my exit for the short is going to be. And you can long it the same way. You can long it up into that resistance area and then bring it and short it back down into that reload area on the way down. But for now, for the time being, the fact that we respected 0.50 gave us a macro view of a continuation, and then inside of the macro view of continuation, we've got a very disciplined lower high pattern establishing the flag. So remember, the flag has a slanted price action, and in order to get that slanted price action, what do we need? We need lower high, and we hit 706 on both lower highs to perfection with double tops, bringing the price further down, coiling into this area here. Hope all that makes sense, guys. So in other words, the technicals do say we're going to go up. Be careful, because here's the thing. When a flag breaks out, when a bull flag breaks out, you're going to go through a stage of uncertainty, and you can actually be heading into a bearish pattern. What do I mean by that? Even though this is a bull flag, okay, that breaks out this way, well, guess what happens, guys? Before you get there, this is what happens. Actually, let me go here. This is what happens. You've got to cross the guard post. This guard post can very well be a hidden bear market structure. And I'm going to say hidden bear market structure because, face it, guys, you got to cross this here. And what can happen is the price can easily stop here and then do what? Do a double top. do a double top, and invalidate your bull flag. So just because you got a bull flag breakout doesn't mean it's going to be a bull flag until the guard lets you through the gate. If the guard lets you through the gate, then it's a bull flag. Until it passes here, it's not a bull flag yet. It's a potential bull flag, but it's also a potential double top. So be very careful. And you may see that double top a little bit better in something like this here. So this may come up here, which actually, now that I went to the 4-hour time frame, I don't rehearse any of these, so I don't really know what I'm going to expect. If it works out, it works out. But I'm looking, this has a really nice double bottom, adding to that bullishness of a continuation. But here's the thing, with the double bottom, you also have to consider, and you guys can look this up on your own time. A double bottom like this and like this. This is a great double bottom because it's the right side is higher than the right side is higher than the left side, which lends to upward direction. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have a double bottom here close to the same area as the left side. Even so, this is what a lot of times happens with double bottoms. You get a wick to the downside to knock out the stops here. We didn't get that. We've got an upward trajectory into a double bottom that has a right side. So this is a very bullish double bottom. But a W, 90% of the time, ends right here. Ends right at the beginning of the left side. Does that mean that it'll be a guaranteed double top? No. And here's why. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of signals that you have to look at, and this is what a trader does, guys. A trader looks for every possible scenario. A double bottom normally gives you a W. Excuse me. Again, you've heard me say this phrase before. W flag breakout, meaning that this W structure, most of the time, what it does, it comes down here to the neckline, giving you the flag, and then the breakout. So we have a lot to think about. We have a lot to digest, basically. I told you guys that the 0.50 lends itself to a macro continuation. However, that macro continuation could give us a double top. But now that I zoomed out to the 4-hour and I see this structure, I'm leaning more towards it'll stop here. It's going to pull back, and then it's going to go. Now, I want you guys to do this. This is the best thing you guys can do when you're trying to learn TA. Just copy everything I said. On your chart, look at these lines, look at the way I drew this, and look at what I'm saying. Look at where I drew the top here. So you want to draw on your chart 1526, and you're going to look out for this, guys. I'm going to make it real simple for you guys to look at these scenarios. You're going to draw this on your line, on your chart. You are going to draw this here, okay? And this completes a W. Then you're going to draw this to about right, I'm going to say about right here, okay? And I'm going to draw a line. That's green. That's the neckline. It may go a little bit higher. It may go to the wick, but I'm going to play it safe. Neckline right there. Because you may get a wick and a candle body close above here. But for the sake of the video, simplicity right here. And then if that happens and this holds, then I'm looking for this. And then the target for that, I'm gonna take it even one step further. The target for this is going to be this right here. Give me 1 second. So this way I will draw my lines, my arrows properly, and then this will be your target for that breakout. So let's do that. Why don't you copy this on your chart? I'm going to make this white because this goes with the coloring of the arrows. I'm going to take out the harmonic pattern out of here. Harmonic pattern out of here. Okay, so we got the flag W breakout with the target being here. Try it out, guys. Try it out. Do this on your chart. I'm going to keep this on my chart so that I could update it if it is going to continue, and the fact that we've already established that it is following technicals, These are very technical patterns. These W's, these flags down to this area, and normally this is within a 382 0.50. As a matter of fact, let's test it. Let's see how well this W lines up to my continuation rule. So this would be the bottom of that right there, and now I'm looking for continuation with 0.32. Look at it right there, right there. I'm not. You can't make this shit up, guys. You can't make this shit up. So hopefully you were able to follow along. If not, play the video again. Maybe play it slower and take notes. Pause it. Take notes. Take a look at everything we just did, and then like I said, leave this on your chart. Have a tab on your chart that you don't. This tab here open that you don't touch, and look and see how well this plays out. And if it does, let me know. Send me a comment. Oh, I'll be keeping an eye on it as well via alerts, so that I could update you guys and see how well it played out. Maybe it doesn't play out this time. Maybe it does. Who knows? Let's check it out. It'll be a fun exercise for the whole community to follow along and see how. We already established that TA does work, but let's see if it continues to work on the upside. Now that we've got some disciplined structure, let's see if the technicals continue to work the way I just pointed them out. And you saw how I did. It's real easy. It's all with fibs. It's all a count. It's not a feeling. It's not I think is going to happen. No, I don't know what's going to happen. All I can do is base myself on technicals that are proven to work more often than not, and then go from there. All right, guys. Hopefully this video helped you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Please hit the like button if you found this content helpful.